Hey, I'm Jason. Today in the lab, I'm super excited to show you, as promised, the STR Advanced wrench. Now, this is an audit tool. This wrench is meant to go through a factory and figure out what bolts haven't been tightened properly. So we're actually going to put this thing to the test. We got a big screen here for an actual job. We're going to tighten the lug nuts on my car, and then we're going to see how good of a job we did with this wrench and verify if my car is safe to drive home or not. So let's go outside, get our test set up, and see how it works. All right, so today we're going to talk about the STR Advanced wrench, which is really a torque auditing tool. It really tells you how tight and how good of a job your tightening process did. So let's say you were in a parking lot and you needed to put a wheel on a car, and the only thing you had with you was a sketchy homemade torque wrench made out of a 2x4. We're gonna tighten up the wheel. I'm gonna do a star pattern on this thing at 100 foot-pounds, and then I'm gonna audit that process with the STR Advanced wrench. And we're gonna see how good of a job we did on a real-world application with my 2x4 torque wrench. All right, let's get started. All right, so we are going to tighten down in a star pattern here. This is going to take a minute, boys. This thing doesn't ratchet. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, there's the tightening. All right, so we just completed our tightening, and now we're gonna audit the tightening process. So that's what the STR Advanced wrench is really great at, is being a torque auditing tool. It allows us to investigate how good the initial tightening process was. So this is actually gonna give us some operator guidance on this screen. It's gonna tell me what order the original tightening was, so I can check the torque in the same order. That way we can correlate the first bolt with the second bolt of tightening to the residual torque or what's left over. So let's check these results, and then we'll see how good we did with our original wrench. All right, good. All right, so let's compare the dynamic tightening that we did with our 2x4 torque wrench and the residual torque, which was measured with the STR Advanced wrench. So what we're looking for is, on the vertical axis, we've got torque, and the horizontal axis, we've got angle. So here's torque in foot-pounds, and here's angle in degrees. Now, when we ran down the lug nut, we had some running torque, and then it's seated against the wheel, and then we tightened to what hopefully was 100 foot-pounds. All right, on our residual check, we're gonna start back at 0, and the torque rate's gonna be really steep until we move the lug nut. And if you could see, I moved each lug nut just a few degrees. Now what's gonna happen here is the torque, once it starts to move, is gonna drop off and then continue to climb at the same rate it was climbing, because we're adding tightness to the bolt. So what the STR Advanced wrench is looking for is this point right here. This is called residual torque. So the wrench also has limits into it. The dynamic installation torque was 100, but our upper and lower limit for our torque audit are going to be 10% above and below our target. So we're going to check to make sure that our residual torque is above 90 and below 110.
Okay, so let's see how good we did with our 2x4 torque wrench. Did we put the right amount of torque in? In this column right here, it's showing me that the results are a bit lower than I expected. Good thing we have a calibrated torque wrench here handy to get these back to where they need to be.
All right, so there we have it. the STR Advanced wrench, as promised. We got a big screen on here. This is super helpful during the operation to allow us to say what bolt we tightened, and we could actually look at the data on screen live when it happened. So really fun to actually do a real world example. And whether you're using a 2x4 torque wrench that you made or an advanced multi-spindle tightening operation, having a tool like this to make sure your bolts are tight is really critical to make sure we're building high quality parts in a good production environment. All right, we'll see you next time.